Tom Aspinall is really pushing for a fight with Jon Jones, and Jon has responded to Tom's callouts. Let's check it out. In the potential upcoming fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, it looks as though pros are torn on who they really think will come out on top, but Henry Cejudo really believes that Jon will be too smart for Tom. Henry stated, "I watched a little bit of Tom Aspinall. He's got lateral movements. Really, really good. But Jones is just too smart. Jones just needs to press him. Stay in the middle. Don't react. Find his wrestling. I think it will be easy money for Jones." Meanwhile, Daniel Cormier believes that the UFC actually needs Jon to lose to Tom if they fight, and he stated, "Jones leaves and you can do whatever you want. We could go Aspinall versus Alex Pereira, Aspinall versus this guy or that guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because even though Francis Ngannou isn't the name that Jon Jones is, people were saying when Jones became champ, well, he didn't beat Francis, right? There was a break in the heavyweight championship timeline. If you want to say it like that, we can make massive fights, but it will never overcome the idea that Jon Jones left as the champ. And then that would happen 2 times back to back. So it'd be a massive mistake. They've got to get him in there with Aspinall. And you've got to hope that Aspinall wins if you want the heavyweight title to continue being what the heavyweight title has been. Because if he doesn't, and Jones goes, "I'm walking away as the greatest of all time, as the reigning heavyweight champion," it leaves a gap that's hard to fill. A lot of people believe that Jon is going to retire before he gets the chance to fight Tom or anyone else, but Chael Sonnen believes that this is all just a marketing game for Jon.
Jon is fighting Tom, but Jon is going to have some fun with us that he's not. Here's the problem. It's called marking out for your own gimmick. I've already watched this happen with Jon. There was, for nothing more than marketing reasons, that both Jon and Stipe would retire after this fight, and Jon grabbed it. Once upon a time, Khabib grabbed the mic and he retired, and the UFC said, "No way." They didn't accept it. What would you do if Jon did that? Jon is going to fight again. The UFC knows that. What would they do if Jon said, I'm out, I'm vacating"? Would they say, "Okay, fine. We've got Tom. We're going to get on with it. He said he was going to retire before we main event him at Madison Square Garden. Told you he'd show up, and he will show up, and we'll get him again." Michael Bisping says you got to strip the son of a bitch. In all fairness, you got to strip the son of a bitch. We don't generally strip for illness or injury. It's healthy and unwilling. But would they do that with Jon? What if Jon didn't say it? Jon was all willing and said, "Not Aspinall."
On the other hand, Cain Velasquez talked about a potential fight between Jon and Tom, but he doesn't think that Tom stands a chance against Jon. Cain stated, "No, I don't think he does. Me just watching him, I kind of see his pattern a little bit in his striking, the way he comes in and strikes. I think Jon sees it too. Again, Jon studies, man. He does his homework, you know? He's a master at this. He analyzes things and studies things over and over again. I think just for that reason, he's going to know what to do. I don't think he beats Jon. No, everybody has a fight pattern, and he has a fight pattern. Some disguise it better than others. And Sue, Aspinall does have a pattern that's somewhat easier to find when he comes in and strikes. So a lot of things come with that, disguising your pattern, throwing fakes here and there, but when he comes in and attacks, he attacks. It's 100% full go. He comes in, glides in, lunges in, and does his attack. Not that is not effective. It is. He's done great things with it. Look at where he's at now. But I think the type of guy that Jon Jones is, I think he studies him and beats him because of that. While many people believe that Jon is actively ducking Tom Aspinall, Frank Mir doesn't think that's true.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have such a short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to, but, he faced criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get it. On paper, 5 years from now, Stipe is going to look just as good of an opponent as Aspinall did currently, because look how people are short memory with him right now. Oh, he's not the GOAT, and he's dodging Tom. Like, man, this guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we can catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people, and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on John.
Michael Bisping seems to think that John is planning all of this out fantastically as a way to get his payday, and he stated, "As we know, Jon Jones kind of shied away from fighting Tom Aspinall leading up to the Stipe fight, which was an absolute stroke of genius in terms of marketing because it drove the demand through the roof, sky high, made it the fight that everybody wants to see. Well, guess what? The man is going to get paid properly more than likely. That's the rumor." Bilal Muhammad and Joe Rogan definitely see the skill that Tom brings to the table, but they are concerned about his ability to last in a fight against a tried veteran like John.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because we've seen him. He looks so fast. He looks, you're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him past the first round to see if he has that cardio as well.
It's a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way. And, you know, you're getting up to elite status where you're calling out Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the boogeyman. And maybe he hasn't died, but he's probably knocked on the door a couple of times like, what's going on, Death? You in there? You know, Jon Jones has had some trials and tribulations, but the skill set and the ability to push deep into rounds.
Jan Blachowicz sees John having a tough time with someone like Tom, and he thinks that this is why he prefers to fight someone like Alex Pereira. John stated, "I think Jon Jones does this because Alex Pereira is now a big star in the UFC. Everybody knows him. He knows what he's doing. But I believe he should fight against Aspinall, but I think he's a little bit afraid of him, because Aspinall is someone who can really stop him and beat him. I think he believes if he can fight against Pereira, he can take him down, control him. Maybe something like this. With Aspinall, it will be not so easy." Tom Aspinall has admitted that no one knows exactly what John is doing, but he has a clear plan for what he hopes to accomplish in the division.
And he literally walked into the room and said, "It's happening." And I said, "Well, he's going to want loads of money. I know, but it's happening." And he said, "It's going to be the biggest fight in UFC history."
Does that mean Jon Jones has agreed?
I don't think so. Jon Jones is like, nobody knows what he's doing, even the UFC.
He says he wants you money. I imagine Dana will pay him you money, won't he?
I would imagine so. Can't speak for Dana, but I would
you
imagine
get you money?
No.
How much would you get for that fight?
I don't really care about money at this point. I mean, obviously, I've got a family. I want to make as much money as I can. But to me, what's more important is unifying the belts. Usually, you have one champion, one face, one name of every division. Now, in the heavyweight division right now, there's two. I don't want there to be two because I feel like I'm the number one.
Either way, Big John McCarthy feels like John won't be the king of the heavyweight division for much longer, whether he fights Tom or not. John stated, "I have Tom Aspinall being the UFC heavyweight champion in the year 2025. Now that can happen one of two ways, Josh. It's gonna happen. He's going to face Jon Jones, and he could be the first person to defeat Jon Jones. But if he doesn't, I see Jon Jones stepping away from the sport, and the UFC is gonna end up putting Tom Aspinall against somebody else, and he'll win the title that way. So he's gonna end up being the UFC champion, heavyweight champion, undisputed champion in the year 2025. Tom has called John out even more for ducking a potential fight, as John only sees him as an exciting up-and-comer that's not worth a gamble.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no different than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. They're like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
While John seems more interested in a fight with Alex Pereira over Tom Aspinall, other fighters such as Colby Covington believe that Alex would actually beat John. Colby stated, "Oh, for sure, Pereira could definitely catch Jones. I mean, no doubt about it, John's going to shoot for those legs. He doesn't want to get cracked by Alex Pereira, so that left hook and those kicks are lethal. So I definitely think he can knock out John with a nice little left hook." Chael Sonnen also seems to side with Colby, as he stated, "Alex Pereira, If I didn't have video proof, I wouldn't even tell you anything about him. I would not expect for you to understand that a tribal man from the jungle in Brazil who can go out on the land on his own, by the way, he doesn't need underwear, he doesn't need shoes. He will survive. He will turn a stick into an arrow. He will find something else to create a bow, and he will be having dinner on time that night. For Colby, whose career is a riddle to give you a Riddler over here on Pereira, there's very fair comparisons, and to act as though Colby's out to lunge by saying that Pereira could knock out John Jones. Yeah, Pereira could knock out John Jones. Rampage Jackson thinks that John would beat anyone who steps in the octagon with him, though.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. No, John Jones is the GOAT in my book. You know, he's one of the best. And I recently saw Aspinall fight for the first time recently, and he's a great fighter, and he's a great champion. But I think it'll be tough for me to ever say that anybody will beat John Jones until it happens.
As for Joe Rogan, he definitely feels like John's latest rumor is more likely to happen, as he's heard that John plans to retire soon. Joe stated, "I had heard a rumor that John Jones wanted $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. And I did hear that rumor, and I did hear that the UFC said yes. But that's not true. Dana contacted me and said that rumor is bulls. So I felt obligated to tell everybody that was a fake rumor. We did that podcast 2 weeks ago. I don't remember who told me that. Apparently John is thinking about retiring. He should think about it. Give the man all the time he wants. He can fight whenever he wants to fight. That's John Jones. He's the GOAT. So leave him alone. If he decides one day to come back, and he comes back and he wants to fight Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight title, the question is, how long are you allowed to hold on to that title before they start having that conversation about stripping Jones of the belt? John has made it very clear that he doesn't want to deal with Tom either way, and he sees him as more annoying than anything else.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's just, you know, with his, you know, he's 30, so he's from this influencer generation where you hop online and the t-shirt sales and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out, you know, but I just don't even want to do business with him. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever. And I don't even want to give him the opportunity. Like he just played his cards wrong with me personally, and you know, I'm 3 years from being a 40-year-old grown man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the press conference, going through the whole shebang with him. I'd rather not do. Pereira on the other side, respectful, cool, barely says much. It's like, I'll do business with you. I would risk it all with a human being like you. You actually have the accolades to back up your shit. This other guy is just a big mouth who's hot today. There's been so many guys who's hot today who are just gone. You know, Sergey was in the same position not too long ago. Now he's starting to fall off already. I've just been around this sport too long to give a big mouth who's hot today the opportunity.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more crazy fight news and updates.